शिवाय देवाय सच्चिदानन्दमूर्ते नमो वेदान्तवेद्याय योगिनां गुरवे नमः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्।
शुभं करोति कल्याणमायु आरोग्य संपदा शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपदेव्यै नमो नमः। अपोपस्पृश्यात् ॐ अच्युताय नमः ॐ अनन्ताय नमः ॐ गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। पोपस्पृश्यात् आगमार्थं तु देवानां गमनार्थं तु रक्षसां कुर्वे गन्तारवं तत्र देवताह्वानलाञ्छनं घण्टस्थिताय गरुडाय नमः। ॐ अथ संकल्पः हस्ते पुष्पं गृहीत्वा ॐ शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये प्राणनायम्य ॐ भूः ॐ भुवः ॐ स्वः ॐ महः ॐ जनः ॐ तपः ॐ सत्यं ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् आपो ज्योतिरसोऽमृतं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवस्वरूं तदेव लग्नं सुरिनं तदेव ताराबलं चन्द्रबलं तदेव विद्याबलं दयबलं तदेव लक्ष्मीपते गौरीपते त्यङ्घ्रिगं स्मरामि शुभे शोभने मुहूर्ते आद्य ब्रह्मणः द्वितीय परार्धे श्वेतवराह कल्पे सप्तमेव स्वत्मन्वन्तरे अष्टाविंशतितमे कलियुगे कलि प्रथम चरणे भूर्लोकान्तर्गतोत्तर अमेरिका खंडे कैनेडा देशे एजाक्स नगरे संकटमोचन श्री हनुमान मंदिरे शुभे दिन शोभने मुहूर्ते एषां यजमानानां प्लीज टेक योर नेम्स एंड रिमाइंड्स एवरीवन एषां यजमानानां सह कुटुम्बस्थानां लोकाः समस्ताः क्षेमस्थैर्यधैर्यवीर्यविजय आयुरारोग्यम् ऐश्वर्याभिवृद्ध्यर्थं समस्तमङ्गलावाप्त्यर्थं समस्तदुरितोपशान्त्यर्थं चिन्तितमनोरथवाप्त्यर्थं सर्वाभीष्टसिद्ध्यर्थं सर्वारिष्टशान्त्यर्थं श्री सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत श्री रामचंद्र प्रीत्यर्थम श्री रामदूत वीर हनुमत आंजनेय स्वामी प्रीत्यर्थम धर्मार्थ काम मोक्षम चतुर्विध पुरुषार्थ सिद्ध्यर्थम अद्य अहम महागणपति पूजनम श्री दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती पूजनम श्री सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत श्री रामचंद्र पूजनम वीर हनुमत पूजनम राधा कृष्ण चंद्र पूजनम सदाशिवलिंगाभिषेकाराधनं च अहं करिष्ये इति संकल्प्य अपोपस्पृश्यात् श्री गणेश ध्यानम्. Clasp our hands as we do invocations to Shri Ganesh Ji. Om Ganana Tva Ganapatigang Havamahe Kaving Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshthara Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvannotibhis Siddhasadanam. Om Shri Man Mahaganadhipate Namaha Dhyayami Avahayami. Shri Ganeshaya Namo Namaha. पादयोः पाद्यं समर्पयामि हस्तयोः अर्घ्यं समर्पयामि मुखे आचमनीयं समर्पयामि शरीरे स्नानं च समर्पयामि स्नानानन्तरमिदमाचमनीयं समर्पयामि. ॐ अर्चना. ॐ सुमुखाय नमः. ॐ एकदन्ताय नमः. ॐ कपिलाय नमः. ॐ गजकर्णकाय नमः. ओम लंबोदराय नमः. ओम विकटाय नमः. ओम विनायकाय नमः. ओम धूम्रकेतवे नमः. ओम गणाध्यक्षाय नमः. ओम फालचंद्राय नमः. ओम गजाननाय नमः. ओम वक्रतुंडाय नमः. ओम हेरंभाय नमः. ओम स्कंदपूर्वजाय नमः. नानाविध परिमल पत्र पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि. श्री गणेशाय नमो नमः. ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः. भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः. स्थिरैरङ्गैः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः. स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः. स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः. स्वस्ति नस्तारिक्षो अरिष्टनेमिः. स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु. ओम शांति शांति शांतिः. श्रीमन्महागणाधिपते नमो नमः. धूपदीप नैवेद्यम् एलालवङ्गकर्पूरताम्बूलानि च समर्पयामि. श्रीगणेशाय नमो नमः. पुष्पं गृहीत्वा श्रीगणेशप्रार्थना. महागणाधिपते नमो नमः. एलालवङ्गकर्पूरताम्बूलानि च समर्पयामि. We conclude Puja to Ganesh Ji with final prarthana. Let us pray together. ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ
निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा।
ॐ एकदन्ताय
विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्तिः प्रचोदयात्। मूषिकवाहनमोदकहस्ते चामरकर्णविलम्बितसूत्र
वामनरूप
महेश्वरपुत्र विघ्नविनायकपाद नमस्ते। गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्थजम्बूफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारकं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम्।
श्रीमन्महागणाधिपते नमः। अथ श्रीगणेशपञ्चरत्नस्तोत्रम्।
मुदाकरात् मोदकं सदा विमुक्तिसाधकं
कलाधरावतंसकं विलासि लोकरक्षकम् अनायकैकनायकं विनाशिते भदैत्यकं नताशुभाशुनाशकं नमामि तं विनायकम्। न ते तरातिभीकरं नवोदितार्कभास्वरं नमत्सुरारिनिर्जरं नताधिकापदुद्धरम् सुरेश्वरं निधीश्वरं गजेश्वरं गणेश्वरं महेश्वरं तमाश्रये परात्परं निरन्तरम्। समस्तलोकशङ्करं निरस्तदैत्यकुञ्जरं दरेदरोदरं वरं वरे भवक्त्रमक्षरम् कृपाकरं क्षमाकरं मुदाकरं यशस्करं मनस्करं नमस्कृतां नमस्करोमि भास्वरम्। अकिञ्चनार्तिमार्जनं चिरन्तनोक्तिभाजनं पुरारिपूर्वनन्दनं सुरारिगर्वचर्वणम् प्रपञ्चनाशभीषणं धनञ्जयादिभूषणं कपोलदानवारणं भजे पुराणवारणम्। नितान्तकान्तदन्तकान्तिमन्तकान्तकात्मजम् अचिन्त्यरूपमन्तहीनमन्तराय कृन्दनम् हृदन्तरे निरन्तरं वसन्तमेव योगिनां तमेकदन्तमेव तं विचिन्तयामि सन्ततम्। महागणेश पञ्चरत्नमादरेण योऽन्वहं प्रजल्पति प्रभातके हृदि स्मरं गणेश्वरम्। आरोगितां दोषतां सुसाहितीं सुपुत्रतां समाहितायुरष्टभूतिमभ्युपैति सूचिरा। श्रीमन्महागणाधिपतये नमो नमः।
वेदोत्तरमन्त्रपुष्पाञ्जलिं समर्पयामि।
बोलिए गणेश भगवान की जय। श्री दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती पूजन। विद पूजा तो दुर्गा माँ, लक्ष्मी माँ, सरस्वती माँ वगैरह। हस्ते पुष्पं गृहीत्वा पुष्पलेकर हाथ जोड़िए अथ ध्यान। ओम विद्युताम समप्रभा मृगपति स्कंधस्थिता भीषण तस्ताभिरासे फितां हस्ते चक्र गदे सिखेत विशिकां गुणं तर्जनी बिभ्राणामनलात्मिकां शशिधरां दुर्गां त्रिनेत्रां भजे। जगदम्बा दुर्गादेवी नमः ध्यायामि आवाहयामि। ॐ हिरण्यवर्णां हरिणीं सुवर्णरजतस्रजां चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः महालक्ष्मे नमः ध्यायामि आवाहयामि। पुष्पासनं च समर्पयामि। महासरस्वत्यै नमो नमः। ॐ मेधादेवी जुषमाणा नागा विश्वाची भद्रा सुमनस्य माना महासरस्वत्यै नमः ध्यायामि आवाहयामि। पुष्पासनं च समर्पयामि। ॐ जातवेदसे स्वनवाम सोममराति यतो निरहाति वेदः स नः पर्षरति दुर्गानि विश्वाक्षा मद्देवति दुरितात्यग्निः तामग्निवर्णां तपसा ज्वलन्तीं वैरोचनीं कर्मफलेषु जुष्टां दुर्गां देवीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। सुतरसे नमः। अग्ने त्वं पारयानव्यो अस्मान् स्वस्तिभिरति दुर्गानि विश्वा पूष्यवितवे बहुलानुर्वी भवातु कैतनयाय संयोः अर्चना। ॐ दुर्गायै नमः। ॐ माहेश्वर्यै नमः। ॐ शिवप्रियायै नमः। ॐ मन्दारवासिन्यै नमः। ॐ अर्कायै नमः। ॐ गिरीसुतायै नमः। ॐ धात्र्यै नमः। ॐ महादेव्यै नमो नमः। नानाविधपरिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। ॐ महालक्ष्म्यै नमः। ॐ महादेव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ धनप्रदायिन्यै नमः। ॐ गृहलक्ष्म्यै नमः। ॐ भोगलक्ष्म्यै नमः। ॐ सन्तानलक्ष्म्यै नमः। ॐ कुबेरलक्ष्म्यै नमः। ॐ गजलक्ष्म्यै नमः। ॐ वीरलक्ष्म्यै नमः। श्रीमहालक्ष्म्यै नमो नमः। नानाविधपरिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। ॐ महासरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ वीणाधारिण्यै नमः। ॐ कमलवासिन्यै नमः। ॐ शिवानुजायै नमः। ॐ पुस्तकभृते नमः। ॐ ज्ञानप्रदायिन्यै नमो नमः। ॐ कमललोचन्यै नमः। नानाविधपरिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। श्रीदुर्गालक्ष्मी सरस्वतीभ्यो नमः। ॐ आर्द्रां पुष्करिणीं पुष्टिं सुवर्णां हेममालिनीं सूर्यां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः। आर्द्रां यक्कर्णीं यष्टिं पिङ्गलां पद्ममालिनीं चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः। श्रीदुर्गालक्ष्मी सरस्वतीभ्यः सुगन्धधूपमाघ्रापयामि। धूपानन्तरमिदमाचमनीयं समर्पयामि। सनः पर्षरति दुर्गानि विश्वाक्षामदेवति दुरितात्यग्निः प्रत्नोषि गमीद्यो अध्वरेषु सनच्च होतानव्यस्य सत्से स्वाञ्चाग्ने तनुवं पिप्रयस्वास्मभ्यञ्च सौ भगमायजस्व गोभिर्जुष्टमयजो निषिक्तं तवेन्द्रविष्णो रनुसञ्चरेमा नाकस्य पृष्ठमविसंवसानो वैष्णवीं लोकयमादयन्ताम्। ॐ कात्यायनाय विद्महे कन्याकुमारी धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गे प्रचोदयात्। श्री दुर्गादेव्यै नमः। महालक्ष्म्यै नमः। महासरस्वत्यै नमः। दिव्यमङ्गलदीपं दर्शयामि। नैवेद्यम् ॐ अन्नपूर्णे सदा पूर्णे शङ्करप्राणवल्लभे ज्ञानवैराग्यसिद्ध्यर्थं भिक्षां देहि च पार्वतीम्। ॐ अन्नं चतुर्विधं स्वादु रसैषद्भिसमन्वितं नैवेद्यं गृह्यतां देवी भक्तिमेह्याचलं कुरु। श्री जगदम्बायै नमो नमः। नैवेद्यं समर्पयामि। एलालवङ्गकर्पूरताम्बूलानि च समर्पयामि। श्री दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वतीभ्यो नमः। सकलाराधनैः सुवर्चितं श्री जगदम्बिकायै नमो नमः। समस्तोपचारान् समर्पयामि। अथ सिद्धकुंजिका स्तोत्रम। पूजा तो माता जी वीरकुंजिका स्तोत्रम फ्रॉम दुर्गा सप्तशती। ओम अथ सिद्धकुंजिका स्तोत्रम शिववाच शृणुदेवी प्रवक्ष्यामि
कुञ्जिका स्तोत्रमुत्तमं येन मन्त्रप्रभावेन चण्डीजाप शुभोद्भवेत्। न कवचं नार्गला स्तोत्रं कीलकं न रहस्यकं न सूक्तं नापि ध्यानं च न न्यासो न च
वार्चनम्।
कुञ्जिका पाठमात्रेण दुर्गा पाठफलं लभेत्। अतिगुह्यतरं देवी देवानामपि दुर्लभं। गोपनीयं प्रयत्नेन स्वयोनिरेव पार्वती। मारणं मोहनं वश्यं स्तम्भन उच्चाधनाधिकं। पातमात्रेण संसिद्ध्येत कुञ्जिका स्तोत्रमुत्तमम्। अथ मन्त्रः ॐ ऐं ह्रीं क्लीं चामुण्डायै विच्चे ज्वालहं संलं क्षं पत् स्वाहा इति मन्त्रः। नमस्ते रुद्ररूपिण्यै नमस्ते मधुमर्दिनी नमः कैटभहारिण्यै नमस्ते महिषार्दिनी नमस्ते शुम्भहन्त्रे च निशुम्भासुरघातिनी। जाग्रतं हि महादेवी जपं सिद्धं कुरुष्व मे। ऐंकारी सृष्टिरूपायै ह्रीं काली प्रतिपालिका क्लीं काली कामरूपिण्यै बीजरूपे नमोऽस्तु ते। चामुण्डा चण्डघाती च यैकारी वरदायिनी विच्चे चाभयदा नित्यं नमस्ते मन्त्ररूपिणी। धां धीं धूं दुर्जते पत्नीं वां विं वुं वागदीश्वरी। क्रां क्रीं क्रूं कालिका देवी शां शिं शुं मे शुभं कुरु। हुं हुं हुंकाररूपिण्यै जं 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 वनादिनी। भ्रां भ्रीं भ्रूं भैरवी भद्रे
भवान्यै ते नमो नमः।
अं कं चं तं तं पं यं शं विं दुं ऐं विं हं क्षं धिजाग्रे त्रोते त्रोते दीप्तं कुरु कुरु स्वाहा। पां पिं पुं पार्वती पुर्र खां खिं खुं खेचरी तथा सां सिं सुं
सप्तशती दिव्य
मन्त्रसिद्धिं कुरुष्व मे। इदं तु कुञ्जिका स्तोत्रं मन्दजागार्ति हेतवेत्। अभक्तेनैव दातव्यं गोपितं रक्ष पार्वती। यस्तु कुञ्जिकया देवी हीनां सप्तशतीं पठेत् न तस्य जायते सिद्धिररण्ये रोदनं यथा। इति श्रीरुद्रयामरे गौरीतन्त्रे शिवपार्वती संवारे कुञ्जिका स्तोत्रं सम्पूर्णम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
जयकारा शेरवालिदा बोल साचे दरबार की जय। जगदम्बाई नमो नमः। श्री राम जय जय राम। विदु पूजा तो भगवान श्री राम परिवार हनुमान जी भगवान राधा कृष्ण टुगेदर। श्री रामचंद्र ध्यान। ओम नीलांभुज श्यामलकोमलांगं सीता समारोपित वाम भागं। पाणौ महासायक चारुचापं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथं। श्री सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत श्री रामचंद्राय नमः। हनुमते नमः। ध्यायामि आवाहयामि आसनं समर्पयामि। श्री हनुमध्यानम्। ओम यत्र यत्र रघुनाथ कीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकं। श्रीवीर हनुमते नमः। ध्यायामि आवाहयामि हनुमरस्राय नमः। रामचंद्र परिवाराय नमः। पंचमुखी हनुमते नमो नमः। राधा कृष्ण ध्यान। ओम कृष्ण त्वदीय पदपंकज पंजरान्ते अद्यैव मे विशतु मानसराजहंस। प्राण प्रयाण समये कपवत पित्तैः कंठावरोधन विधौ स्मरण कुतस्ते। श्री राधा कृष्णाभ्यां नमः। ध्यायामि आवाहयामि पुष्पासनं समर्पयामि। ओम कौशल्या सुप्रजा राम पूर्वा संध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ नरशार्दूल कर्तव्यं दैवमाह्निकम्। उत्तिष्ठोत्तिष्ठ गोविन्द उत्तिष्ठ गरुडध्वज उत्तिष्ठ कमलाकान्ता त्रैलोक्यं मङ्गलं कुरु त्रैलोक्यं मङ्गलं कुरु त्रैलोक्यं मङ्गलं कुरु। श्री वेंकटेशाय नमः। श्री चक्रदेवे नमः। श्री सत्यनारायणाय नमः। बालकृष्णाय नमो नमः। ओम नृसिंहलक्ष्मीभ्यां नमो नमः। अथ पाद्यम्। ओम सहस्रशीर्षा पुरुषः सहस्राक्ष सहस्रपात् स भूमिं विश्वतो भृत्वा अत्यतिष्ठद्दशाङ्गुलौ। पुरुष एवेदगं सर्वं यद्भूतं यच्च भव्यं उतामृतत्वशेषानः यदन्नेनातिरोहति। एतावानस्य महिमा अतो जायागिश्च पुरुषः पादोऽस्य विश्वाभूतानि त्रिपादस्यामृतं दिवि त्रिपादोर्ध्वौ पुरुषः पादोऽस्येह भवात् पुनः ततो विश्वं व्यक्रामत् शासनान् शने अभि तस्माद् विराड जायत विराजो अधिपुरुषः स जातो अत्यरिच्यता। अर्चना। ओम रामाय नमः। ओम रघुनाथाय नमः। ओम नाथाय नमः। ओम सीतापतये नमः। ओम परब्रह्मणे नमः। ओम ईश्वराय नमः। ओम कौशल्यानंदनाय नमः। नानाविध परिमलपत्र पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। श्री सीतादेवे नमः। लक्ष्मणाय नमः। भरताय नमः। शत्रुघ्नाय नमः। श्री हनुमते नमो नमः। नानाविध परिमलपत्र पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। ओम हं हनुमते नमः। ओम रामदूताय नमः। ओम रामदासाय नमः। ओम सीताशोक निवारणाय नमः। ओम कुमार ब्रह्मचारी नमः। ओम वीरवीराय नमः। ओम महावीराय नमः। ओम अतिवीराय नमः। ओम अर्जुन मित्राय नमः। श्री वीर हनुमते नमः। नानाविध परिमलपत्र पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। पंचमुखी हनुमते नमो नमः। हनुमरस्ताय नमः। ओम कृष्णाय नमः। ओम वासुदेवाय नमः। ओम श्रीधराय नमः। ओम वैकुंठाय नमः। ओम श्रीनिवासाय नमः। ओम अच्युताय नमः। ओम मधुसूदनाय नमः। ओम त्रिविक्रमाय नमः। ओम राधा देवी नमो नमः। नानाविध परिमलपत्र पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। ओम वेंकटेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सत्यदेवाय नमः। शालिग्राम देवाय नमो नमः। श्री सत्यनारायणाय नमो नमः। नानाविध परिमल पत्र पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। ओम ब्राह्मणोऽस्य मुखमासीत् बाहुराजन्यकृतः ऊरुतरस्य यद्वैश्यः पद्भ्यागं शूद्रो अजायत। धूपमाघ्रापयामि सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत श्री रामचंद्राय नमः। श्री वीर हनुमते नमः। धूपमाघ्रापयामि धूपानन्तरमिदमाचमनीयं समर्पयामि। ओमाञ्जनेयमतिपाटलाननं काञ्चनाद्रिगमनीयविग्रहं पारिजाततरुमूलवासिनं भावयामि पवमाननन्दनं। श्री हनुमते नमो नमः। दिव्यमङ्गलधूपमाघ्रापयामि राधाकृष्णाभ्यां नमः। धूपमाघ्रापयामि धूपानन्तरमिदमाचमनीयं च समर्पयामि। वेंकटेशाय नमः। सत्यनारायणाय नमो नमः। बालकृष्णाय नमो नमः। धूपमाघ्रापयामि। दिव्यमङ्गलदीपम् ॐ चन्द्रमा मनसो जातः चक्षो सूर्यो अजायथ मुखारिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च प्राणाद्वायुरजायत। दिव्यमङ्गलदीपं दर्शयामि। धूपानन्तरमिदमाचमनीयं दीपानन्तरमिदमाचमनीयं च समर्पयामि। श्रीरामचन्द्रपरिवाराय नमो नमः। श्रीवीर हनुमते नमो नमः। दिव्यमङ्गलदीपं दर्शयामि। दीपानन्तरमिदमाचमनीयं समर्पयामि। सकलाराधनैः सुवर्चितम्। ओम ब्राह्मणोऽस्य मुखमासीत् बाहुराजन्यकृतः ऊरुतरस्य यद्वैश्यः पद्भ्यागं शूद्रो अजायत। सर्वेभ्यो देवेभ्यो नमः। दीपं दर्शयामि। दीपानन्तरमिदमाचमनीयं समर्पयामि। नैवेद्यम् ॐ मधुवातारतायते मधुक्षरन्ति सिन्धवः माध्वीर्णसन्तोषधीः मधुनक्त्वं तोषसि मधुमत्पार्थिवगम्रजः। मरुद्योरस्तु नः पिता मधुमानो वनस्पतिर्मधुमाघम् अस्तु सूर्यः माध्वीर्गावो भवन्तु नः। मधु मधु मधु। श्री सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत रामचंद्राय नमः। हनुमते नमः। राधा कृष्णाभ्यां नमः। मधुमहानैवेद्यं समर्पयामि। इलालवंगकर्पूरताम्बूलानि च समर्पयामि। श्रीरामचन्द्रमूर्तये नमो नमः। श्रीवीर हनुमते नमो नमः। ताम्बूलानि च समर्पयामि। राधा कृष्णाभ्यां नमः। इलालवंगकर्पूरताम्बूलानि च समर्पयामि। राधा कृष्णाभ्यां नमो नमः। सकलाराधनैः सुवर्चितं। श्री वीर हनुमते नमः। विल सिंह हनुमान चालीसा। श्री हनुमते नमः। श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी। बरनौ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फल चारि। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरा पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर। जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर।
रामदूत तुलित बलधामा। अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर मति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेशा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय संजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई सहस बदन तुम्हरो यश गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद शारद सहित अहिसा यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेरी मुख माही जल्दी लांगी गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे तेते राम द्वारे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज संहारो आपे तीनों लोक हाँकते कापे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नास रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा हे पर सिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निखंडन राम दुलारे, अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा, तुम्हारे भजन राम को भावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे, अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई, और देवता चित्त न डरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई, संकट कट मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा, जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई, जो शत बार पाठ कर कोई, झूठहि बंदी महासुख होई, जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा, तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय महडेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय महडेरा।
पवन तन संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय। बोलिए पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। ओम अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम, तस्मात् कारुण्य भावेन रक्ष रक्ष हनुमत, रक्ष रक्ष श्री रामचंद्र, रक्ष रक्ष श्री कृष्णचंद्र। अनंत कोटि प्रदक्ष नमस्कारान् समर्पयामि। श्री हनुमते नमो नमः। अथ शिव पूजनम। अब भगवान शिव की पूजा होगी। एक्चुअली पूजा तो भगवान शिव। नमः शिवाय देवाय सच्चिदानंद मूर्तये, नमो वेदांत वेद्याय योगिनां गुरवे नमः। ओम योगिनां गुरवे नमः। श्री सांब सदा शिवाय नमो नमः। ओम घोरेभ्योऽथ घोरेभ्यो घोर घोरतरेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः सर्वशर्वेभ्यो नमस्तेऽस्तु रुद्ररूपेभ्यः। श्री सांब सदा शिवाय नमो नमः। You can start by touching your head and follow by touching the limbs of your body, where we transform our bodies into a mandir for Bhagwan Shiva. Om asya Shri Rudradhyaya Prashna Mahamantrasya Aghora Rishihi Anushtup Chandah Sankharshanamurti Swarupo Yosavaditya Parma Purushasya Esha Rudro Devata. Om Namah Shivaya Ti Bijam. Om Shivaya Taraya Ti Shaktihi. Om Mahadevaya Ti Kilakam. Shri Samba Sadashiva Prasara Siddhyarte Jape Vinyogaha. Om Agni Hotratmani Angushtabhyam Namaha. ओम दर्श पूर्णमासात्मने तर्जनीभ्यां नमः। ओम चातुर्मास्यात्मने मध्यमाभ्यां नमः। ओम निरूढपशुबन्धात्मने अनामिकाभ्यां नमः। ओम ज्योतिष्ठुमात्मने कनिष्ठिकाभ्यां नमः। ओम सर्वतत्वात्मने करतलकरपृष्ठाभ्यां नमः। ओम अग्निहोत्रात्मने हृदयाय नमः। ओम दर्शपूर्णमासात्मने शिरसे स्वाहा। ओम शिखाय वशत। ओम निरूपशबंधात्मने कवचाय हुम। ओम ज्योतिष्ठोमात्मने नेत्रत्रयाय भविष्यत। ओम सर्वकृत्वात्मने अस्त्राय फत भूर्भुवस्वरूम इति दिग्बन्धः ध्यानम्। आपाताल नभस्थलान्तभुवन ब्रह्माण्डमाविस्फुरत् ज्योतिस्पातिकलिङ्गमौलिविलसत्पूर्णेन्दुवान्तामृतवीः अस्तोकाप्लितमेकमीशमनिशं रुद्रानुवाकाञ्चपन् ध्याये दीप्सितसिद्धये दृढपरं विप्रो विषिञ्चेच्छिवं ब्रह्माण्डव्याप्तदेहा भसितहिमरुचाभासमाना भुजङ्गैः कंठे कालाकपर्दाकलित शशिकला चण्डकोदण्डहस्ताः त्रक्षा रुद्राक्षमाला प्रकथित विभवा शाम्भवा मूर्तिभेदाः रुद्रा श्रीरुद्रसूक्त प्रकथित विभवा न प्रयच्छन्तु सौख्यम्। ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत न शृण्वन् ऊतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ओम श्रीमन्महागणाधिपतये नमः। ओम शञ्च मे मयश्च मे प्रियञ्च मे नुकामश्च मे कामश्च मे सौमनसश्च मे भद्रं च मे श्रेयश्च मे वस्यश्च मे यशश्च मे भगश्च मे द्रविणञ्च मे यन्ता च मे धर्ता च मे क्षेमश्च मे धृतिश्च मे विश्वञ्च मे संविच्च मे ज्ञात्रं च मे सूश्च मे प्रसूश्च मे सीरञ्च मे लयश्च मृतञ्च मे अमृतञ्च मे यक्ष्मञ्च मे नामयच्च मे जीवातुश्च मे दीर्घायत्वञ्च मे नमित्रञ्च मे भयञ्च मे सुगञ्च मे शयनञ्च मे सुषा च मे सुरिनञ्च मे। ओम शांति शांति शांति। प्लीज कम फॉर अभिषेक एवरीवन। ओम नमो भगवते रुद्राय नमस्ते रुद्रमन्यवतोतिषवे नमः। नमस्ते अस्तु धन्वने बाहुभ्यां तते नमः। या तैषु शिवतमा शुम्भभूवते दनुः शिवा शरव्या या तवतया नो रुद्रमृडया या ते रुद्र शिवा तनूरघोरा पापकाशिने तया नस्तनुवाशन्तमया गिरिशन्ता भिचाकशेः यामिशं गिरिशन्तहस्ते बिभर्षस्तवे शिवाङ्गिरित्रतां कुरु माहिगं शिव पुरुषं जगत् शिवे नवचसा त्वा गिरिशाच्छावदामसि यथा न सर्वमित् जगत यक्ष्मगं सुमना असत् अध्यवोचररिभक्ता प्रथमो दैव्यभिषक् अहीगिश्च सर्वा आञ्जम्भयन् सर्वा आश्चयातु धान्यः असौव्यस्ताम्रो अरुणौ तबभ्रुसुमङ्गलः ये चेमागं रुद्राभितो दिक्षुश्रुता सहस्रशो वै शागं हेडैमहे असौव्यो वसर्पति नीलग्रीवो विलोहितः उतैनं गोपादृशन्दर्शन्दुरहार्यः उतैनं विश्वाभूतानि सदृष्टो मृदयातिनः नमो अस्तु नीलग्रीवाय सहस्राक्षाय मीटुषे अथो यस्य सत्त्वानोऽहं तेभ्यो करन्नमः प्रमुञ्च धन्वनस्त्वमुभयोराट्नियोर्जाम् याश्च ते हस्तैशवपराता भगवो वपा अवतत्य धनुस्त्वगं सहस्राक्षसते शुधे निशील्यशल्याणां मुखा शिवो न सुमना भव वे चन्दनुक्कपर्जनो विशल्यो वाण्वागं मुथा अनेसनशेषव आभुरस्य निषङ्गतेः या ते हेतिर्मीदुष्टमहस्ते बभूवते दनुः तयास्मान् विश्वतस्त्वमयक्ष्मया परिभुजा नमस्ते अस्त्वायुधायाना तथा दुष्णवे उभाभ्यां तते नमो बाहुभ्यां तव धन्वने परिते धन्वनो हेतिरस्मा वृणक्तु विश्वतः अथो शिधिस्सवार्यस्मन्निधेत। ओं नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश त्र्यंबकाय त्रिपुरांतकाय त्रिकालाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकंठाय मृत्युंजयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। हर हर नमः पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव। श्री सांब सदाशिवाय नमो नमः। दुग्ध महास्नानं पंचामृत महास्नानं च समर्पयामि। We'll sing Lingashtakam together. Athalingashtakam. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Brahma Murari Surarchita Lingam Nirmal Bhashita Shobhita Lingam Janama Jadukha Vinashana Lingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Deva Muni Pravararchita Lingam Kamadaham Karunakarilingam Ravana Darpa Vinashanalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Sarva Sugandhi Sulepita Lingam Buddhi Vivardhana Karana Lingam Siddha Surasura Vandita Lingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Kanaka Mahamani Bhushit Lingam Phanipati Veshtit Shobhit Lingam Daksha Suyagya Vinashana Lingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Kumkuma Chandana Lepita Lingam Pankajahara Shushobhita Lingam Sanchita Papa Vinashana Lingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Devaganarchit se vitlingam Bhavar Bhakti Vire Vachalingam Dinakar Koti Prabhakar Lingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam शिवाय ओम नमः 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 शिवाय अष्टदलोपरि वेष्टितलिङ्गं सर्वसमुद्भवकारणलिङ्गम् अष्टदरिद्रविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 सुरगुरु सुरवर पूजित लिंगं सुरवन पुष्प सदार्चित लिंगं परात्परं परमात्मकलिंगं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिंगम् ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 लिंगाष्टकमिदं पुण्यं या पठेत् शिवसन्निधौ शिवलोकमवाप्नोति शिवेन सह मोदते हर हर नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव
हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन सुन लो मेरी पुकार पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन सुन लो मेरी पुकार पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार अष्ट दिनों निधि के दाता अष्ट से दिनों निधि के दाता दुखियों के तुम भाग्य विदाता दुखियों के तुम भाग्य विदाता सिया राम के काज सवारे सिया राम के काज सवारे मेरा करो उद्धार पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार पवन जपो निरंतर नाम तुम्हारा, जपो निरंतर नाम तुम्हारा। अब नहीं छोड़ूं तेरा द्वारा, अब नहीं छोड़ूं तेरा द्वारा। राम भक्त मोहे शरण में लीजिए, राम भक्त मोहे शरण में लीजिए। भव सागर से तार पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार। पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। अपरंपार है शक्ति तुम्हारी, अपरंपार है शक्ति तुम्हारी। तुम पर रीरी अवध बिहारी, तुम पर रीरी अवध बिहारी। भक्ति भाव से द्याहू तो है, भक्ति भाव से द्याहू तो है। खर दुखों से पार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार। पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार।
Anyone has prasad to offer? Please bring a prasad. Offer a prasad at this time. Shri Hanumate Namo Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya Devaya Namo Namaha. Shri Samba Sadashivaya Namo Namaha. Tatpurushaya Vidmahe Mahadevaya Dhimahi Tanno Rudra Prachodayat. Saurashtra Somanathancha, Saurashtra Somanathancha, Shri Shaile Mallikarjunam, Shri Shaile Mallikarjunam, Ujjainya Mahakalam, Ujjainya Mahakalam. Omkaram Amaleshwaram, Paralyam Vaidyanathancha, Dakinyam Bhimashankaram, Paralyam Vaidyanathancha, Dakinyam Bhimashankaram, Setu Bandhe Turamesham, Setu Bandhe Turamesham. Nagesham Darukavane, Varanasyam tu Vishvesham, Trambakam Gautami Tate, हिमालये तु केदारम, हिमालये तु केदारम, भुष्मेशं च शिवालये, एतानि ज्योतिर्लिङ्गानि सायं प्रातः पठे नरः, सप्त जन्म कृतं पापं, सप्त जन्म कृतं पापं, स्मरणेन विनश्यति। ॐ नमः शिवाय, 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। श्री सांब सदा शिवाय नमः। ॐ वन्दे देव उमापतिं सुरगुरुं, वन्दे जगत्कारणं, वन्दे पन्नगभूषणं मृगधरं, वन्दे पशूनां पतिं, वन्दे सूर्यशशाङ्कवह्निनयनं, वन्दे मुकुन्दप्रियं, वन्दे भक्तजनाश्रयं च वरदं, वन्दे शिवं शङ्करं, वन्दे शिवं शङ्करं। श्री सांब सदा शिवाय नमो नमः। तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्र प्रचोदयात्। श्री सांब सदा शिवाय नमो नमः। नमः शिवाय देवाय सच्चिदानन्दमूर्तये। नमो वेदान्तवेद्याय योगिनां गुरवे नमः। ॐ हरिः ॐ। नमः शिवाय। श्री रामचंद्रमूर्तये नमः। We contemplate भगवान श्री राम। ॐ लोकाभिरामं रणरङ्गधीरं राजीवनेत्रं रघुवंशनाथं कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरन्तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये। ॐ वैदेही सहितं सुरद्रुमतले हैमे महामण्डपे मध्ये पुष्पकमासने मणिमये वीरासने संस्थितम् अग्रे वाचयति प्रभञ्जनसुते तत्त्वमुनिभ्यः परं व्याख्यान्तं भरतादिभिः परिवृतं रामं भजे श्यामलं श्री सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत रामचंद्राय नमो नमः। Ram Ram. So last week we commenced this beautiful prasanga, this discussion where Vishwamitra Muni came and asked Dasharath ji to send his two young sons, Prabhu Sri Ram and Lakshmanji. They were around 16 years old, to go and help him to fight against the Rakshas. There are many powerful Rakshas, and the two most powerful ones were Taraka. These Rakshas were so powerful that every time the Saint Vishwamitra Muni decided to do yajna, they would fly in the air and they would take all kinds of the carcasses of animals and pour it into the Havan Kund. They will take blood and they will come and they will yajna ko bhang karte hai. They disrupt his yajna. He had the power to destroy them if he wanted through his yogic power, but he didn't want to use his tapasya to destroy these Rakshas them. So he went and asked of Sri Ram and Lakshmanji. He wanted them. He recognized Bhagavan Sri Ram as the incarnation of Vishnu Bhagavan. And as I said, those who were here last week, the incarnation of Bhagavan was not to sit and to become the king of Ayodhya. Thousands upon thousands of devotees, I should say millions rather, were waiting on the darshan to come in contact with Prabhu Sri Ram. So he had to relinquish the kingdom. This is the first time he would leave the kingdom and go to Vishwamitra Muni. They would tour the entire forest. Then he will end up, at that time Nepal was all part of India. Then we'll go to Nepal at the Swayamvar of Janaki Ma. Then we'll break the bow. Then we'll march Sita Ma and come back to Ayodhya. So his job was not to sit in Ayodhya on the throne as the king. Devotees were waiting upon him to have his darshan. So Vishwamitra Muni came, and of course he welcomed him, the traditional way of welcoming a sadhu. And when we welcome a sadhu, there is a kalash with the nariyal, the coconut on top with the leaves, and flowers upon the kalash is called Purna Kumbham. Special Vedic mantras are chanted. Dasharath probably had his Purohit, all the Brahmins came together, they chanted Vedic mantras, and they welcomed Vishwamitra Muni. Took him into his palace, gave him a royal seat, make sure that he was properly fed and taken care of. Then he came and asked him, why have you come here, O Vishwamitra Muni? So our katha starts from Balkand after Doha number 206, Chaupai number 4. He knew that Vishwamitra Muni had an important reason to visit him. So he inquired of him. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. O kehi karan आगमन तुम्हारा केहि कारण आगमन तुम्हारा कहु सो कहत न लावो बारा कहु सो करत न लावो बारा Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 केहि कारण आगमन तुम्हारा. O Mahamundri, आप क्यों आए? Why have you come to visit me, O Vishwamitra Muni? कहेहु सो कारण लावहु बारा. बताइए, tell me, I'll carry out all your wishes. Why have you come here? And I'll, of course, try my best within my capacity to carry out your orders. We have to be careful. Sometimes people ask for our help, and sometimes अनजान से, unknowingly we say, बताइए मैं करूँगा. And then the person come and ask for something, and then you can't fulfill the desire. So he told him, "O Vishwamitra Muni, whatever you ask for, I will try my best to carry out your orders." Never in his wildest dream he thought that this great sage would come and ask for his two sons to accompany him to go and fight against the Rakshas. Vishwamitra Muni was very pleased. Having heard the words of Raja Dashrath ji, he answered. Let us see what he had to say. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Asura Samuha Satavahi Mohi. Asura Samuha Satavan Mohi. मैं जाचन आया नृप तोहि. मैं जाचन आया नृप तोहि. श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम. 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 अनुज समेत देहु रघुनाथ. अनुज समेत देहु रघुनाथ. निशिचर बध मैं होभ सनाथा. निशिचर होभ, निशिचर बध मैं होभ सनाथा. श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम. श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम. श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम. Asura Samuha Satavahi Mohi. There is a band of demons who come and they torment me. Every time I sit for yajna, they come and disrupt my yajna. And when one takes a sankalpa to perform Vedic sacrifices, yajna for example, the tradition goes that when the sankalpa is taken, the yajman should not move from his or her position. So we take the sankalpa and we sit for puja, and we're using this simple future tense in Sanskrit. At the end, the verb says karishye. Right? There is parasmay padi and atmane padi. Different kinds of verbs in Sanskrit. That is why, especially our West Indian Pandits, should try to learn a little bit the language so that when they're performing this puja, they know what they're doing. Anyone takes on this responsibility to be a purohit, to perform, to help Yajman along the way. They themselves must be qualified. You can't do everything. We have 4 Vedas, 1,008 Upanishads. We have 18 Puranas, we have Mahabharata, we have Ramayana. When are you going to study that? How many lifetimes you need to study that? But at least the basics. The Panditji must know to give the Yajman guidance. If not, the blind will be leading the blind. We see it within certain segments of our community today. Is the blind leading the blind? Kya hoga? So, at the end of the sankalpa, aham karishye. I will perform this. And you mentioned what puja, what havan, what sacrifice, Vedic yajna you're performing. And the yajman should not move from that position until the yajna is done. But every time he took his sankalpa, Vishwamitra Muni, these rakshas would come and they would disturb his yajna, so he couldn't complete his yajna. And all of these yajna, all Vedic worship, all Vedic yajna, they are universal prayer. All Vedic mantras are universal prayer. 99% of the mantras in the Vedas are universal prayer. So that's why anything we do in Vedic Dharma is not only for us and our family or people within the Hindu fold is Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. May all be happy. It doesn't matter your race, your religion, you believe or you don't believe. May all be happy. So this is how he performed his yajna. He continued in the Vedic tradition for thousands of years. This is how the rishis have been doing it. And again, the yajna was for the benefit of the community. So, Asura Samoha Satava Himohi. These Rakshas will come and disturb my yajna. Mai Jachan Aya Unreputohi. I have come to you, O Rajaji, with a request in my heart. मैं याचना के लिए आता हूँ. I have come to you with this special request in my mind. मुझे help करो, please help me. अनुज समेत देहु रघुनाथा. Please give me. Anuj means the younger brother. Jeshta means the elder brother. So Sri Ram was Jeshta Bhrata. Lakshmanji, Bharatji, and Shatrugnaji, they were all Anuj, the younger brother of Sri Ram. So Anuja Sameta, the younger brother Lakshmanji, Sameta, along with Sri Ram. Dehu Raghunatha, please send me in my company. Place him in my care. Dehu Raghunatha. Nisichara Bhathamai Bhasanatha. So that with their help, I can destroy these Rakshas them. And when I sit for my yajna, there will be no disturbance. That was his request. Was a very difficult request. Imagine someone comes and asks you for your teenager son or daughter to go and fight war. What would you say? Basically, it was a war they're fighting against the Rakshas. What would you say? You look at the sadhu and say, probably you will just tell the sadhu to, please leave my home. What are you asking for, Sadhuji? This is how a parent would react. And these chaupas reveal the love of a dear father. How would a father send his young son, 16 years old, to go and fight against these powerful Rakshas? But Dasharath did not, he knew that Sri Ram, his son, had a lot of power. But yet again, because of his love, he felt that was his child, his earthly child, so he didn't want to part with his child. He felt that if they went with Vishwamitra Muni, these Rakshas would kill them, would hurt them. And how can a father, Sri Ram was heir to the throne, how is he going to send the Yuvraj, the heir to the throne, to go and fight? The name Dasharatha, Dasha ka matlab 10. Ratha means chariot, of course. It has many meanings, but in this situation, the title that was given to him, Dasharatha, he had the ability to move his chariot and fight war. He was a very powerful warrior. To move east, west, north, south, northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest, the 8 direction, upar or niche, above and below. Dasharatha, he fought rather his enemies by moving his chariot in 10 different directions. Such a powerful warrior he was. So you're asking for my son. Probably he said in his mind, let me go and help you. But as the Katha revealed to us last week, that Vishwamitra ji wo bahana banakar aake. He uses as an excuse just to come and have the darshan and to take Sri Ram to go and perform his leela. So it was an excuse indirectly from Vishwamitra Muni, because he knew that Sri Ram is the avatar of Vishnu Bhagavan. So he uses an excuse to have the darshan of Bhagavan Sri Ram and get the help of Bhagavan at the same time. So start the leela of Bhagavan. Because after Gurukula Ashram, Sri Ram came back, 16 years old, after he studied under the guidance of Vasishta ji. He came back and now he was all ready to perform his leela, to save his devotees from the hands of the Rakshas, to give them his darshan, to purify the world. Let's see what Tulsidas has to say. Doha number 207 of Balkan. Dehu bhupa manharshita Dehu bhupa हर्षित तजहु मोह अज्ञान तजहु मोह अज्ञान धर्म सुजस प्रभु तुम कहो धर्म सुजस प्रभु तुम कहो इन्ह कहो अति कल्याण इन्ह कह अति कल्याण सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम देहु भूप मन हर्षित ओ भूप ओ दशरथ जी ओ राजा ओ किंग please entrust your sons to me. Let Rama Lakshman go with me. Tajahu moha agyan. Give up this infatuation. Give up this ignorance. Give up this attachment to your son. So indirectly he was telling that you can't recognize your son to be the avatar of Vishnu Bhagavan. So give up your attachment to your son. Send them with me. You know, when we truly understand as a parent, but it's hard for us to think this way. Sometimes our children, we lay claim on them. So much thing we want to enforce on them. That doesn't mean that there should not be rules. There should be rules. But these children, like they're lent to you in this life. Look at it carefully. You don't really own them. Their karmas had a connection with your karma. So you're blessed to be a family together. So Bhagwan used you as a parent to bring these children in this universe. Bhagwan karte hai, Bhagwan does everything. We are instruments in the hand of Bhagwan. And when we lay claim upon these children, then sometimes we find what happens in today's society. We want to, again, there must be rules so that they can, grow up to be disciplined children. But when they grow up, we want to choose their career. You must do this, you must do that, you must do that, and we confuse them sometimes. That's why you find some children, let me use the exact word, they'll get away from home sometimes. So there's too much pressure. The parent, the father, the mother want to live their career in the child. What they couldn't do in their life, they want the child to do. You must become a lawyer. You must become a doctor. You must become an engineer. Let the child choose what he or she loves doing. Encourage them along the way. Set goals for them. Help them to achieve it. But if the child can't become a doctor, there's so many other professions the child can choose, and to be a happy and contented human being. I'm sure you heard of cases where parents force their children, and the child, while studying, gets a nervous breakdown. I've known quite a few cases. And the child is not the same person anymore. Why? Because of the pressure of the parents sometimes. So encourage them, help them to choose a good career. Let them be happy human beings. That's why when they're choosing career, encourage them, help them to choose a career that they will, something that they like doing. Then work becomes fun afterwards. Today is Sunday. You know how many people are stressed out on Sunday afternoon to go to work on Monday? I have to see those same people that I don't like. I have to go to the same stressful environment. I have to go to the same job that I don't like. And there's so much stress on Sunday afternoon for Monday morning. Look, we start working in our 20s. And then we retire at 65 or more than that. Most of our life we spend at work. Think of that for a moment. Are you going to find something that you do not like? Are we going to waste our life from 20, let us say from 25 till up to 65? Are we going to waste those pressure years doing something that we don't like? Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Help your child to choose a good career, something that they like. Because of Raja Dasharath's attachment to his son, he didn't want to send Sri Ram. So as Vishwamitra Muni told him to give up his attachment and his ignorance, we want to look at the bigger picture, how, we enforce our values. We force these things on the children. You must do this, you must do that. Encourage them, love them, let them be happy human beings. Dharma sujas prabhu tum hakao. You will earn merit, you will earn dharma, and also dharma suyasha, you will be, people will recognize you as the famous Dasharaji who sent his son to fight with me, Vishwamitra Muni, to destroy Taraka and all of these great Rakshas. Inhakahu ati kalyan, and your sons also will be highly blessed. Give up this attachment. They will just merit, they'll earn a name for themselves, and you will also be blessed. Send them with me. But he was not prepared to do that. Again, because of his attachment to his son, he was not ready to part with them. Tulsi Das writes in there, Chaupai, Ram Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Patita Pavan Sita Ram. Patita Pavan Sita Ram. Suni Raja Ati Apriya Bani. Hridaya Kampa Duti Mukha Mukhlani. Ram Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. चौथे पन पायऊ सुत चारी. चौथे पन पायऊ सुत चारी. विप्र वचन नहीं कहे बिचारी. राम सिया राम, सिया राम, जय जय राम. राम सिया राम, सिया राम, जय जय राम. पतित पावन सीताराम. पतित पावन सीताराम. सुनि राजा अति अप्रिय बानी. Suni Raja, having heard the words of Vishwamitra Muni, what kind of words? Ati Apriyavani, the most unwelcome demand. Ati Apriyavani. Priyavani means someone comes and says something really nice to you. Apriyavani, when someone comes and says something that changes your whole mood. So when he heard this most unwelcome demand from Vishwamitra Muni, Hridaya Kamp. Hriday kaapne lage, his heart started to beat fast. And when you're nervous or you're afraid, the heart races. So Tulsidasi used words appropriately to describe what happened to him. Internally, his heart was racing. This is how any parent would react. And we see it sometimes with children. There's a lot of unnecessary wars being fought for the past 2,000 years. Some of them, I don't want to say war is justified, but certain situation you have to represent righteousness. Right? You have to be on the side of righteousness to protect humanity. And we can see the pain in the parents' eyes when they know their sons and their daughters are going for war. The immediate family, there's so much pain, there's so much suffering they go through. Why? Pain and suffering of the unknown. They don't know whether their child may make it back. If the child may be killed in the war. And it's so hard that we find sometimes, news comes to the parents. The news comes that your child is no more in the world. How would a parent react? How can you, deal with such news? Your child is no more. And some of these wars, they're not, just for dominance in the world. Just to exert one's power or a nation's power over other people. To some extent,
Most of the wars that we've had in human history, only a few are justified. Most of them is just to take the wealth of other people, to conquer them and rule them. Look what Mother India experienced for the past 1,000 years. So many invaders who went and killed and convert from left, right, and center. When we study the ancient history of Mother India, we're so thankful that 80% of the people are still Vedicas. Wherever these conquerors went, you know who conquerors I'm talking about, the Mughals and the British. They wiped out the old culture. Look at history. The only country upon the face of the earth where these two groups of people went and they didn't wipe out the ancient culture is Bharat Mata, Mother India. Because Hinduism is a living organization. As long as the dharmi, people who live as per the teaching of dharma, is protected, dharma will flourish. So devastating is war. And it's all done for dominance and to steal people's wealth. Yesterday they had a crowning. I have to say this. They had a crowning of the king, right? You know where the jewelry on the crown of the king came from? They stole it from a 13-year-old king in India, the Kohinoor. All in the name of war and dominance. You must know these things. I must remember you. Because we tend to forget. We do not want history to repeat itself again. You must be on the side of dharma. Be on the side of justice. Be on the side of righteousness. So, Hriday kaapne lage, his heart started to tremble when he heard a demand from Vishwamitra Muni. Mukha dutti, mukhalani. And the countenance, his face changed immediately. He was so happy to receive this king. This Mahamuni Dasharatha. So Raja Dasharatha was happy to receive the king, but having heard the demand, his heart started to beat fast and his whole countenance changed. From a happy face to a sulky and sad face. What should I do in this situation? Chaute panapayau sutachari. In my old age, I am blessed with 4 sons. So ye to jivan chaute pan ka hai. This life has 4 parts. And if we follow yoga and we live a dharmic life, we will live for at least 100 years. Prathama Pant is from birth to 25 years old. Brahmacharya, studentship. Then from 25 to 50, Grihastha, get married, raise your family. Then from 50 to 75, Banpras, when you see that your family is raised, you have a career, slowly you try to detach yourself from the attachment and your responsibility. And from 75 to 50 is sannyasa, total renunciation of all attachment. So he was in the last stage of his life. Chaute pan, payau sutachari. I am blessed to have 4 sons in my old age, the last stage of my life. Vipra bachana nahi kaheyo bichari. O Mahamuni, have you thought before you ask? Or have you thought before you place your demand before me? Have you thought of carefully what you're asking for before you ask me? So his heart was beating really, really fast. His whole countenance changed. But he maintained his balance and the way how he spoke to him. Dasharathji stood before the king, and there were so many emotions going through his heart. Then he said, "O Mahamuni, ask for anything you want. Anything that you want, ask for, but my Ram and my Lakshman." Again, the father's love. Tulsidas writes in this chaupai. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Mangahu bhumi dhenu dhan hosa. Mangahu bhumi dhenu dhan
देहु आज सरोसा सरबस देहु आज सरोसा श्री राम जय जय राम 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 देहु प्राण ते प्रिय कछु नाही देह प्राण ते प्रिय कछु नाही सो मुनि देव निमिष एक माए सो मुनि देव निमिष एक माए श्री राम जय जय राम 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 मांगहु भूमि O Mahamuni Vishwamitra ji, ask for land. Ask for anything but Ram. So he gave him options. First option, Mango Bhumi, ask for land. I'll give you how much you want. Dhenu, ask for cattle. I have millions of cattle. I'll give you how much you want, ask, I'll give you. Dhan, ask for wealth. I'll give you wealth. How much you want, ask for. Kosa, ask for treasure. I'll give you. So, ask for land, ask for cattle, ask for wealth, ask for treasure. Mai dunga, I'll give you. Sarvasudehu aju sarosa. I will gladly give you everything that you want today. Ask, Mango. But not my Ram. Love of a parent. Deha pranate prekachunahi. For every individual, he gave him an example. He used a metaphor to describe the love for one's family or one's son. So he said, Deha pranate prekachunahi. For each and every one of us, our life and our body is dear to us. The closest thing that you have to, you forget about wealth and material things. Your life and your body are the most valuable thing you have. Ask for that, I'll give it to you. So muni dehu nimisheka prani. Ek pal mein main dunga. You know what's a nimish? Nimish in Sanskrit is one blink of your eye. Nimish is one blink. It's a fraction of a second. So ask even. So the first line said, ask for wealth, ask for cattle, ask for treasure. Anything you want, I'll give you. Then the next line, ask for a body, ask for my wealth, my life, rather, I'll give it to you. In a second, I'll give you all of these things, my body and my life. But don't ask for Ram. Powerful words from a dear father. Sometimes our fathers do not show too much emotions, you know, from old school. The father sometimes a reserved person, he doesn't talk too much. He toils all day. Do everything that he has to do to take care of the family. And the mother is the nurse, she's a doctor, she's a caregiver, she's the accountant, she doesn't run deficit, you know. She didn't depend on credit card. She bought within her means. So she never ran a deficit. So the father is the breadwinner. All day he'll go toiling from dawn to dusk to make sure that the children had enough. Those who are going to school, make sure they had proper clothing to go to school, footwear, books, exam fees, lesson fees. The father will make sure everything is taken care of. So much sacrifice.
When we grow old and we are blessed with knowledge, because of the sacrifices of our parents and their hard work, and become some popular person, you get a good job. And when our parents come to our home, and if they eat and they spill something on our fancy table, we get angry at them. They're old, they work their whole life serving you and I, and their hands shake like that, they're eating something and spill something on your table. You go, oh, what you're doing? You're messing up. You know how much for that table? Which table or any material thing can you put, or you can compare with your parents? How is it possible? We fail to realize the sacrifices the parents made to make you who we are, to make us who we are. And the little things. They come in your fancy car, they pull the door, and they pull it and it closes hard. Oh, you're going to break the door, don't pull it like that. Silly things like that. Fail to realize how many days, how many years, rain and sun, the father worked to provide for the child. Now the child is blessed with education. The child is blessed with wealth. The child forgets all of those things. The child is more attached to the material things. Nothing with father and mother anymore. It's a fact of life, Pyare. I see it all the time. And this is a forum we need to talk about it. This is the best place. And so, you all know this katha. I don't have to tell you this story. You know it. But we want to, as we read this katha, we want to put ourselves in a position or bring the katha alive whereby we look at some of the things that we're not doing in our society and address them at the same time. Because Ramayana is a scripture we have to live. We have to live what Ramayana says. Whatever we do as a Hindu, you may not know what some of the things that decisions you make or things you do is based on the life of Sri Ram. Ye jeene ka shastra hai. As a scripture teaches us how to live. So, deha pranate prekachunahi. I'm prepared to give you my body and I'm prepared to give you my life, but not my Ram. How can we compare material things to the sacrifices of our parents? And yet we see it. So muni dehu nimish ekamai. I'm prepared to give you in a blink of a second without thinking. Because this is my son, this is my children. I'll do everything to protect my children. Father's love, parents' love, so special. And when we, again, they become a little old, because of dementia, because of different kinds of illnesses, Alzheimer's disease, or old age. And instead of us remembering the sacrifice that they made for us, we're busy with so many things. You have your career, you have your job, you have your family. You have to do your dharma towards them. But never ever forget the sacrifices that your parents made. Never ever forget that. I know in certain situations they're ill, and you can't provide the care that they will get at nursing home. The society has facilities that we can take them if you can't provide 24 hours care. Take them if you can't provide that care. Take them to the nursing home. But you make sure you visit at least once a day. Or if you can't go once a day, every other day. And when you go, if you see the nurse is feeding or changing your mother, you help, or your father. When they're feeding them, it's a pop. Let me say it as it is. Something must be said. And you all know me by now. I don't cushion things when I say it. Because I have the Shastras as my evidence. And I can only repeat what the saints and sages say. Tota ka saman bolte. We can only repeat what they say. It's a pop for you to stand there and see the nurse feeding your mother and you're not helping her, your father. What kind of child are you? So when you go there at the nursing home and help, remember the kindness. Remind how many sleepless nights they had. Dashirath is saying, I'm prepared to give my life for my child. Your father, your parents are prepared to do that. If it was necessary, they would have given their life to save you. So go and help. When they go, if they're okay, when you go, your mom or dad just relaxing, you just go and just rub their feet, touch their feet, rub their head. You can't begin to imagine how happy they are that my child is here today and my child is massaging my feet. They're pleased with you, they give you their blessings, Ashirvad milenge. So I'll do whatever it takes. But I wouldn't give Ram. So muni dehu nimishekama, in a split second I'll give it to you. The other Chopai talks about the father's love as well. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram. सब सुत प्रिय मोहि प्राण के नाई, सब सुत प्रिय मोहि प्राण के नाई, राम देत नहीं बनई गोसाई। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम। कह निश्चर अति घोर कठोरा, कह निश्चर अति घोर कठोरा, कह सुंदर सुत परम किशोरा, कह सुंदर सुत परम किशोरा। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। 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 श्री राम जय राम। सब सुत प्रिय मोहि प्राण की नाई। All my children are dear to me as my life. How can I part with Ram and Lakshman? They are dear to me as my life. Ram det nahi bane gosai. But I can't spare Ram. I can't send Ram with you. They're all dear to me. And we find sometimes there is sibling rivalry. One child will say, oh, my father, my mother loves the other one more than me. We hear sometimes, isn't that true? Oh, they love this one more. And how they will call that love? Oh, that's why they bought a new car for that one. They give him or they give her that. They give her their house, they give that. They give that all the time. So they love that one more than me. Sibling rivalry we find sometimes. We may think as if our parents love one. We may feel that they love one child more than the other. No. Sab sutat priya mohi prana ki nai. I love all my children equally. These are the words of Dasharath ji. Although I love all of them equally, Ram deta nahi bane gosai. I cannot send Ram with you. I can't send Lakshman with you. So there should be no sibling rivalry. If you feel that your parents love your brother or sister more than you, and for some reason or the other you have that feeling, in the first place you should not entertain such feeling. Because in Sanskrit, there is a word called sahodar or sahodara. Udar means stomach. Sah udara or sah udara, male or female, mean that you and your siblings share the same stomach or the same abdomen of your mother. Such a beautiful word for explain. That's why Sanskrit, you can't find English word to do this thing. You all came from the same womb. The same love, the same care is given to you. How should you think that your parents love you or the other more than you? It's not possible. Sahodara. Look how many English words we have to use to explain that one. Sahodara. In Sanskrit, there's something called sandhi, where the words join together. Sahodara becomes Sahod, Ani become O in Sanskrit grammar. I'm telling you this because I want you to learn some Sanskrit and Hindi. Then you appreciate what the Shastra has to say. And I hope our leaders would follow this pattern as well and try to educate themselves to better serve the community. Because with knowledge, the only thing we share in this world, and it grows. Anything you share, you have. If you're blessed to win the lottery tomorrow, $50 million, and I hope you win. When you start sharing, it becomes less than $50 million. If you, after the $50 million, you buy a coffee after that, it becomes $2 or $1.88, less than the $50 million. But you share knowledge. You teach one person one mantra, teach 4 person 2 mantra, or some little katha from the Shastra. That person shares it to another 4 person, and it grows. Knowledge is the only thing that grows, nothing else. So when we look at the Shastra, we want whatever we know, we share it, and you share it with friends and family. Let this knowledge grow. So Sabasutta Priya Mohi Prana Ki Nahi, they're all equal. I love them equally. But Rama Te Dete Nahi Bane Kusai. I can't afford to send Ram with you. Kaha Nisichar Ati Ghora Kathora Kaha Sundara Sutta Parama Manora. My lovely children who are so tender, young, 16 years old, and these Rakshas are so hideous, and they're so cruel, they're so powerful. How can my sons fight against them? O Vishwamitra Muni. They're ugly looking. They have dangerous weapons. They're powerful. And the average Rakshas of 8 or 9 feet tall. Kaha mera Kishore, Ram or Lakshman. My young boys, they're about 5.5 feet tall. 16 years old. How can they fight against these hideous Rakshas? It's not possible. I can't send my son with you. So I'm going to leave. We're going to leave you in suspense here, and we'll continue next week. So I urge you to go and research these chaupais. It's from Balkan after Doha number 207. So 206 come down up to 207. Please do a little bit of research. Try your best way to understand it. And don't tell me you don't have Ramayana in your home. You have phones, you have computers, you can Google it. You'll find exactly the same Doha. Look at it, and we'll continue this discussion next week. Boliye Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. There's one bhajan that summarizes everything we talked about this morning. And this bhajan was composed by Shri Prem Bhushanji, a great Kathakar, Raman Kathakar. And we'll sing this bhajan. It's a little difficult, but we'll try together though. Shri Ram Jai Jai Ram Raghav ko main na dunga. I will not send Raghav with you, O Vishwamitra Muni. I will send him with you. He's not going with you. Muninath marte marte. I'm dying. I prefer to die than to send my Ram with you. मेरे प्राण ना रहेंगे, मेरे प्राण ना रहेंगे. As a matter of fact, O Vishwamitra Muni, I'll die. I can't remain alive anymore. You know what you're asking for? You're asking for my life. You're asking for Ram. यह दान करते करते, यह दान करते करते, राघव को मैं न दूंगा, राघव को मैं न दूंगा. By giving you this dhan, sending my Ram and Lakshman, I won't survive anymore. Take whatever you want. Earlier he said to him, take wealth, take cattle, take land, take the treasury and go. But not my Ram. Only a parent can think this way. Our loving parents. Raghav ko main na dunga, Raghav ko main na dunga, Muni nath marte marte, Muni nath marte marte, mere प्राण ना रहेंगे, मेरे प्राण ना रहेंगे, यह दान करते करते, यह दान करते करते, राघव को मैं न दूंगा, राघव को मैं न दूंगा। जल के बिना कदाचित मछली शरीर धारे, मछली शरीर धारे, पर मैं न जी सकूंगा, इनको बिना निहारे, कौशिक सिहर रहे हैं, कौशिक सिहर रहे हैं, मेरे अंग डरते डरते, मेरे अंग डरते डरते, राघव को मैं न दूंगा, राघव को मैं न दूंगा, मुनिनाथ मरते मरते, मुनिनाथ मरते मरते, राघव को मैं न दूंगा, राघव को मैं न दूंगा। कर यत्न चौथेपन में, सुत चार मैंने पाया, सुत चार मैंने पाया, पितु मातु पुरजनों को रघुचंद्र ने जिलाया, लोचन चकोर तन में, लोचन चकोर तन में, छवि पान करते करते, छवि पान करते करते, राघव को मैं न दूंगा, मुनिनाथ मरते मरते, मुनिनाथ मरते मरते, मेरे प्राण ना रहेंगे, मेरे प्राण ना रहेंगे, यह दान करते करते, यह दान करते करते, राघव को मैं न दूंगा, राघव को मैं न दूंगा। जल के बिना कदाचित मछली शरीर धारे, just like how a fish cannot remain alive out of water. शरीर धारे, पर मैं ना जी सकूंगा. In a similar way, I can't live without Ram. How can I send Ram with you? Inko bina nihare, you know. Dasharath ji, when he got up in the morning, just like when we were small, and now you're doing it with your children. If the child, baby is asleep, you go and peep over the baby, make sure everything is okay, then you go. Or every time you get up at night, you want people to see what they're doing. So in a similar way, Dasharath ji would get up and every time would just watch over Ram and his brothers. How can I live if I send Ram with you? Kaushika se har rahe, mere ang darte darte. There's fear in every limb of my body. Ang darte darte. I'm trembling. I can't control my emotion. Ram kaise bhejunga? How can I send Ram with you? The bhajan has 5 verses, but it's almost 12 now, so we have to finish. Probably we can sing it back next week. Bole Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai, Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki jai. Prasad. Shri Hanumate Namo Namaha. Anchananandanam Viram Janaki Shok. Amar, go with him. Sakaladhanaihi suvarchitam Om Nabhya asirantariksham Srishnodhyau samvartata Padbhyam Bhumshishotraat Tatha lokagam kalpayan Om Prane Swaha Pane Swaha Vyane Swaha Udane Swaha Brahmane Swaha Brahmane Matma Sada Shivaya Namo Namaha Jal Devidyam Samarpayami Hanumate Namo Namaha Ramadutaya Namo Namaha Shri Hanumate Namo Namaha Om Nabhyasirandriksham Shishnodhyau Samartata Padbhyam Vamshashotraat Tatha Lokagam Kalpayan. So before we do Arati, I'll ask you to join with me on prayer. Many of our devotees probably went there this morning. My sister-in-law's father passed away. Then this morning is the funeral. So the funeral is going on right now. So please join with me. We offer a special prayer for him. Om Karacharam Kritam Va Kayajam Karmajam Va Shravananena Jam Va Manasam Va Paratham Vihitam Avihitam Va Sarvameta Chamaswa Jai Jai Karunabdhe Shri Mahadeva Shambhu Samba Sada Shivaya Namaha. May Bhagwan Shiva grant him Sadgati. Namah Parvati Pate Har Har Mahadeva. Please stand everyone. We do Arati. Come, we'll conclude with Arati. Arati Shri Ramayan Ji Ki Kirati Kalit Lalit Siyapi Ki Arati Shri Ramayan Ji Ki Kirati Kalit Lalit Siyapi Ki Gavat Brahmadik Muni Narad Valmik Vigyan Visarad Shukh Sanakadi Shesh Arusarad Varni Pavan Sut Kiratini Ki Arati Shri Ramayan Ji Ki Kirati Kalita Lalita Siyapi Ki Gavat Veda Puran Ashtadas Chaho Shastra Sab Granthan Ko Ras Muni Jan Dhan Santan Ko Sarvas Sara Ansh Samat Sab Ki Arati Shri Ramayan Ji Ki Kirati Kalita Lalita Siyapi Ki Gavat Santat Sambhu Bhavani Arughat Sambhav Muni Vigyani Vyas Adi Kavi Varja Bakhani Kag Bhushun Jigarud Kehi Ki
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की
कलिमल हरनि विषय रस फीकी शुभ सिगार मुक्ति जुबती की दलन रोग भाव मोरी अमी की तात मात सब विधि तुलसी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की सीताराम राम राम 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 राधे श्याम 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 ओम श्री राम जय जय राम 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 सीता 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 राम ओम त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणो त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव मन्त्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं जनार्दन यत्पूजितं मया देवा परिपूर्णं तजस्तु मे ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ द्यौः शान्तिः अन्तरिक्षं शान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिः रापः शान्ति औषधय शान्ति वनस्पतय शान्तिः विश्वदेव शान्तिः ब्रह्मा शान्ति सर्वगं शान्ति शान्तिरेव शान्ति सामा शान्तिरेधि गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। बोलिए रामचंद्र भगवान की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय, जगदम्बे मैया की जय। हर हर नमः पार्वती पतये, हर हर महादेव, सनातन धर्म की जय। देख आरती कमल की